who's been organizing this. My name is Guillermo Espinoza. I serve as the Director of Student Success, Diversity, and Equity here at Spokane Community College, and one of the point of contacts for this new initiative.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us. My name is Priya, and I am the Community Outreach Manager here at SCC. And so my position is super fun because I get to learn about all the community resources that are out there and then share that information with our students and then share SCC resources with you guys. And so again, thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you learn lots.
So we've got a quick little presentation put together for everyone, just on some of what we know and perhaps maybe even showing a little bit of what we don't know as it pertains to this initiative. So some of the background around this is the Washington State Legislature at the last legislative session granted $80,000 to community colleges so that we can partner with our community-based organizations around FAFSA or WASFA completions. For those unfamiliar, as I reference a lot of this, I might slip up a few times and only reference FAFSA, but the idea is WASFA is for undocumented individuals or students without social security numbers. In the state of Washington, there is state college grant money that is awarded to those individuals based off some residency requirements. But so FAFSA, WASFA, very similar. The FAFSA does have a requirement of a social security number, whereas the FAFSA, it's optional. So that's the big difference there. So we got this funding from the state, and then we were asked that none of this money comes to the college, but instead it goes towards our community-based organizations. So that's where you all come in as we build these partnerships, and where Priya comes in as she's building these community relations with our community-based organizations. How can we leverage this funding to help support some of the work that maybe you're already doing or starting to do in the FAFSA completion? I know that Washington State and our director of financial aid is here as well, Tammy Zybel, in case there's questions that come up around the FAFSA completion. But as I know it, and Tammy, correct me if I'm wrong, Washington State has a low completion rate as it pertains to the FAFSA, which is one of the reasons why this initiative has come about.
Yes, you're correct. And also, just to let you know, it's WASFA and not WASFA. That might confuse some people.
Awesome. So part of those funds, well, all of those funds, those 80,000, need to be used by the end of our fiscal year, which is June 2023. And there is an expectation based off of what we know that these funds would potentially be renewed annually. So we'd be looking at another $80,000 to commit to next year. But we don't know that for certain, but that's what we've been told from the legislature. So for those of you who know how that works, sometimes they tell us one thing and then do another thing. So for now, we do have $80,000 to spend on this initiative. So the purpose of the initiative is to increase financial aid application completion. So we want our community-based organizations to perhaps hold workshops or do events that help with the completion of the FAFSA or the WASFA, and then increase some of the outreach and enrollment from our community-based organizations. So we know that a big barrier to our students is financial aid, or at least getting financial assistance to cover some of college's tuition. And so this should help, hopefully, the intended consequences that more students that complete the FAFSA have a better understanding of how much their college will actually cost them once it is all said and done. So some potential uses for these funds is outreach, definitely hosting events, informational and promotional activities, so they can be in person or virtual, conducting group sessions or walk-ins. If as a community-based organization, you want to host a certain amount of events or host a workshop that includes a gathering and maybe some food or flyer advertisements. Certainly this funding is, we can't spend any of it at the college, but the intention is for us to partner with the community-based organization, and then you can spend it as you need to. Technology can be used to purchase internet access if you need to get hotspots or Wi-Fi for the event, and that is like a one-time cost that can certainly be done. And then any other miscellaneous uses of the funds, which could be staffing, perhaps. I wouldn't count on hiring someone full-time for this because we don't have that much funding, but perhaps a stipend for some of the staff. Maybe it's an evening event and you want to afford a stipend to your staff for doing this kind of event because it's on top of their duties. Or if you have volunteers that you have on staff and you would like to stipend them for their time for being there, that is a possibility with this funding, along with training costs. So we understand that our community-based organizations might not be as versed with filling out the FAFSA or WASFA, but it certainly is something that we have training across the state because this initiative is new. So if you want to make sure, it's typically held on Zoom, but it could be a few hours. And if you want to pay your staff or stipend your volunteers to attend those trainings, that's certainly a possibility as well. Any kind of translation services that might need to happen if you're working with a community that might be helpful to have it in a different language and you want to have it professionally translated, these funds can be used to do that as well. And any kind of publication of materials. So if there's flyers or resources that you would like to have available during this event or for your community, you can certainly use these funds. So the idea is that this should not be an undue burden for our community-based organizations. It certainly should even be of some help to complete some of this work for our students. We would have to go into an MOU or a memorandum of understanding with the community-based organization. So we're looking for a partnership in that way. It would be a memorandum of understanding with the community colleges of Spokane. We would have some outcomes for that. So some of those expectations or outcomes would be completing AIM Higher Washington training for financial aid basics, which is put on by WASAC, the Washington Student Achievement Council. Conduct outreach of activities throughout the academic quarters. Assist community members in completing the FAFSA or WASFA completion. Keep track of and report what FAFSA or WASFA applications have been completed. And then requests for funds will be allocated based on efforts of above completed. So I think on the next page, we have kind of a short idea of perhaps what a request of funds would look like. So perhaps your organization wants to hold 3 events and wants to, your goal is to complete 30 FAFSA applications, 10 WASFA applications, and then, and so you would request, because of those 3 events that you're hosting, maybe 100 flyers will be created. You'll order some pens that'll cost $200. And then you'll get some laptops, 5 laptops that cost about $500 each in order for this event to be successful. So that would be kind of, hey, I'm requesting about $2,300 for our event, and this is what you can expect from us. And then we would take that information, create the memorandum of understanding, and then fund that event or that request for you. Right now, one thing that we are still unfamiliar with is perhaps what a community-based organization might need in order to be successful. So we're not under any kind of constraints on how much to ask for funding, but we certainly want it to be sustainable. And like I said earlier, not be an undue burden to the organization to be able to do these events. And the students don't have to commit, right, in any way, shape, or form to community colleges of Spokane, either us at SCC or SFCC. They could certainly be applying. I think the FAFSA allows for 10 schools to be on there. So it could certainly, we could be one of those schools, but we certainly, it's not a caveat to this funding to say that the student is committed to going to a community college or even committed to putting our name as one of the 10. We just want to see this as a service to our community and our students as they're pursuing their higher education. And so, but so we're not clear on how much we could spend per organization. It would just really depend on what the cost is to the particular organization. So we haven't put a cap on it just yet. And then there's contacts information for myself and for Priya as the point of contact for this initiative. And then if you have further questions, or certainly opening it up for questions right now around this funding and how we can support these efforts together. I'll just, leave it room for some questions.
And I'll also put our contact info in the chat.
Awesome. Bernadita, did you have a question? I think you're muted. If you don't mind, just, I think I just asked you.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so our organization is the Seroptimus International Spokane, and we have a program called Dream It, Be It, where we work with young women in our schools, high school usually, and to help prepare them for college, for certificate. What we try to do is encourage them to go into higher ed. And I'm thinking that this could be one component. We have a variety of sessions with them. It's like probably a month or two weekend after school type sessions. So we have been wanting to do a conference type thing where we can encourage more girls than just one school at a time. Would this be something that would work for if we did like one workshop specifically on FAFSA and WASFA?
Yeah, it could certainly be a part of it. I would even encourage you to go back to the organization and let them know that there's funding available to maybe do more than just the workshop, where you could actually invite the young ladies who attended the conference to then come back at another time where you could host them, and it could be at the library or it could be at college, and then have them physically have laptops available, or have them bring their laptops and then actually apply right away.
Okay. So would it have to be someone from the organization during the FAFSA training, or can we get someone from the community college to come out and speak and work with them? Is that something that?
I'd have to say a tentative. If you could send us an email, and then we'll route it. I know our financial aid office, they have a recent retirement in their office, so we would have to look at it perhaps, depending on when and what time, maybe Priya or myself or someone from financial aid could certainly be there.
Okay, thank you so much. And we will be getting back to you. This is so cool. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much.
Priya, thank you for sharing the information with us yesterday at the multicultural fair.
Oh,
You're
awesome.
very welcome.
Can I jump
Thank
in and add a little additional information about the Seroptimus? What we have is a curriculum designed by Seroptimus International of the Americas that we've been teaching Shadle with the Shadle She group. One day a month we did it there. We've done it with the Boys and Girls Club because it's geared, it can handle junior high girls as well as high school. And what we do, it's all these different, in the curriculum, there are different units. And they cover like career opportunities, setting and achieving goals, overcoming obstacles to success, and moving forward after setbacks or failures, which, that's what you're looking for too. And their goal is to give girls the tools they need to achieve their education and career goals, right up your alley, empowering them to break cycles of poverty, violence, and abuse. And so we work with these groups, and we kind of can set it. Do you know Suzanne Bettinger?
Yeah, I remember Suzanne. Yeah.
She has worked, she and I have worked with this group for quite a while, trying to figure out, best ways. And we were talking about doing a 1-day seminar, maybe at one of the colleges, and do these various units. And we could do one on FAFSA and tie it in with, the education, getting them ready for education. And so that's why when Priya was talking to us yesterday, we went, oh, this sounds like something we already do and might be able to, work together with it. So we'll get back. I did give her my business card, so she has my info too. I used to teach there, SCC, in
Awesome.
the business department, 25 years.
Yeah.
And hi, Tammy. I don't know if you're still on there, but so, anyway, we'd love to work with you and do some stuff too. Hi.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yes.
Make it work
Yes.
if we can.
Let's totally
So
connect.
the best way to do it is to contact you by email.
Yeah, that by email.
Priya's kind of copy
Yep.
both of you. And when Suzanne's walking her trail that she does in California every year. So when she gets back, we'll chat about that. And then Bernie is kind of heading up our grants area. So we'll make it a combined effort and try to get you more information. We also have Live Your Dream program, which we work with the counselors there at the colleges and all the colleges in Spokane. And that one is for a person that's low income and single head of household women who's trying to get a college education. The grant is not just for tuition. They can use it for gas or childcare or that kind of thing. So there's 2 different programs, but we work closely with several of the SCC people have won that from us. So we've got a couple different kinds of programs that we kind of can think about.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, I think there's going to be a great way to partner here with the Seroptimus organization.
All right. Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah. Any other questions from any of the other folks in the room? Virtually. Like I said, I think one of the biggest things is the funding is available. We want to use it before the end of this fiscal year, which sounds like a long time from now, June. But we want to see these, the FAFSA and the WASFA open up October 1st. So certainly not a deadline or anything like that, but that is when students are able to, for next academic year, start applying. So it's also a good time, to remind folks that, this is happening and the FAFSA, WASFA completions are up and open. So it's important that our students feel supported. I think one of the ways that we see this partnership really being is the community colleges can always come in and do a presentation or do some outreach there. But when the community is connected with a community-based organization, they seem to trust that community a lot more. They seem to trust their volunteers if they can speak the same language or they understand their history, their background. It's going to be a stronger partnership than if we just come into the room and say, hey, listen to me, I know everything. So that's why it's important for us to partner with our community-based organizations. But we also don't want to make it so that there's more work for our already underfunded community-based organizations, which is why the funding is equally as important as the partnership. So know that there's money there. We will come out with kind of next steps. If you're interested in this partnership, just send Priya an email and then we'll follow up with what the next steps are about getting together and creating a memorandum of understanding, an MOU between us and your organization. Awesome. And then if you know of other organizations that maybe weren't able to make it today, like I said, we're recording this so that they can get the information as well that we send out. But the more we connect, the better it will be for our entire community. Like I said, some of us do work very closely with certain communities. And so we want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to access these funds as well, to make it possible for their communities to apply and complete their FAFSAs or WASFAs. Awesome.
Hi, I'm sorry. I just want to confirm real quick. My name is Lydia. I am from the Hispanic Business and Professionals Association here in Spokane, and I also am the organizer for Luna, which is Latinos Unidos en Acción, is our student program. So we do a lot of events like loteria nights and book clubs and things like that, where we have students come in and just kind of talk about different things, but we also, if they need help with WASFA, especially because we work with the Latin American community, we work a lot with WASFA. And so this is completely new. This is the first day I heard about it. Someone sent me an email about it and I was like, oh, this is awesome. Let me get on this Zoom. And so I completely forgot I just wanted to confirm that I just need to send Priya an email and then I could get more information about it, or what the next steps would be.
Yeah, so the next steps for us, I think we need to create a form that the organization can fill out to request funds. And part of that request is kind of like applying. I'm hesitating to call it a grant because it's not a grant. But it's similar in that nature of give us a budget. What are you going to use the funds for? How many completions will you have? How are you going to get the community to complete those applications? And then if it all makes sense, we'll enter into that MOU, and then we'll grant those funds, writing the organization a check so that they can do what they need to do to get the folks in there.
Okay, I really appreciate the information. Sorry, I just wanted to confirm that real quick.
Thank you so much for being here and participating. All right, we'll hang out a little bit if there's any other questions, but that kind of concludes everything. Priya got everyone's email addresses. We'll follow up with the PowerPoint so you can share it within your organization. And then if other folks or other organizations have questions, you can always refer them to Priya or myself, and we can set up one-on-one meetings to talk more about it. Or if your organization is going to need a little more information than we have, then certainly give us a call and email, and we'll try and see if we can't meet with your organization to help explain it further. Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day, y'all.
Thank you.
Bernardina, did you have another question?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, I don't.
No worries at all. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Priya.